Hello and welcome. My name is Angela Davis and I'm the 4M Quilter. If you've never been to my channel before, welcome. If you're a regular follower, welcome back. Today is Wednesday, July 31st. I can't believe it's July 31st. Wow. This was not planned. It is late afternoon, early evening, and I was coming home from work, and all I wanted to do was come home, get myself a big glass of something cold, and read my book. Now, this is called The Quilter's Apprentice. The author is Jennifer Shiverini. And this is copyright 1999. And it's about a young woman who takes on a temporary position with a woman in the community who needs help cleaning and sorting through the contents of her family home in order to sell it. And during the process, they get to know one another and they work it out where part of her wages, her payment for doing this is for the other main character to teach her how to make a quilt. So the main character is teaching her how to do a 12-block sampler. And it got me thinking, I haven't done a sampler since my very first sampler, my very first quilt. And this is my very first quilt, and I've showed this to you before. It's a 6-block sampler, and it was all hand pieced. I think the only thing that I did the machine piecing on were the lattice strips and the border and the binding, but all the blocks were all hand pieced. I was thinking, since I'm rereading this book, because I'll oftentimes what I'll do is I'll go back to a book and reread it. And it's usually what I consider like my summertime books. Those are the books that I like to reread in the summertime, because in the summertime I don't always want to get vested into reading a new book and getting acclimated to new characters and new storylines. I like reserving those times for winter reading. So this is one of the ones I enjoy rereading. I enjoy going back to revisit the characters and so on and so forth. But it got me thinking, I haven't done a sampler since that first quilt, and I started that first quilt in 1991, the year before my ex-husband and I got married. So that tells you something. So what I've done is I made a list of the blocks that the author has the character creating for her 12-block sampler. And so I'm trying to go through my books and do some research online so that I can mimic some of the blocks from her 12-block sampler, but maybe swap out other blocks that maybe I feel will be more challenging for me as far as techniques that I need to learn, or that maybe I need to practice on to develop a better skill level within that type of technique. So some of the ones she has are Sawtooth Star. I couldn't find one called a sawtooth, but I did find something called a feathered star in my research, and I really like that one. They do a double 9 patch, which I'm not going to do a double 9 patch. I've done 9 patches before. I've done 4 patches. That one would not be challenging for me. It may be challenging for you. Little Red Schoolhouse. I want to do that one because it's just a classic. Contrary Wife, I might do that one. Lemoyne Star, I might do that one. Posies Round the Square, I definitely want to do that one. Lancaster Rose, or some variation of a rose pattern. Sister's Choice, I don't remember if I found a pattern for that one yet. I'm still searching. hands all around. I found a pattern for that one. Chimneys and cornerstones, which is a log cabin variation. I'm not sure I'm going to do that one. Ohio Star, I've done that one before, so I might switch that one out. And Bachelor Puzzle. I believe that's 12. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. 12. So once I wrote them all down from the book, and I believe those are all of them from the book, if my reading was skimming through was accurate. But the next thing to do was choose fabric. Now, you can do a sampler quilt in a number of different ways. You can do a 2-color sampler quilt. You can do a 3-color sampler quilt and make it the color selection very simplistic, which in a lot of ways makes, in my opinion, makes it look very modern and very dynamic. I wanted to do something a little more traditional, and I've been looking for an excuse to use this fabric. And this is vintage fabric. And I found this on the bolt at a thrift store. And I don't remember how much I paid for it, but I have probably at least 3 yards of this. So I'm really good on yardage. And then what I did was I chose 3 of that reddish pink colors. And I did it in a dark, a medium, and a light value. And then I chose 3 colors to pick up some of the earthy tones. So I started with a green, and I felt as though this really picked up that light medium green in the leaf. I picked up a gold, which I really like because there is a gold flower in there, and it's nice to pick something opposite of your other colors. I'm losing stuff here. And then I chose a complementary print, because sometimes it's nice when you're working on a sampler to introduce other textures, and that's a great way to do it. Is to introduce some type of a small leaf pattern, and I felt that it would complement the leaves in the print. And it also has that little bit of a tint of a gold and a little bit of tint of that red. So I'm really pleased with the colors I found, and I'm strictly working with my stash. I'm still stash busting. And I'm pleased. I'm really pleased with the colors I chose. I felt like this was a little too dark, but it's what I have. So that's what I'm going to work with. And this one is also a vintage fabric, so I thought that would be appropriate since the main color is vintage. The green is not vintage, the leaf pattern is not vintage, and neither is this. But this is, the main pattern is, and I think this is too. So that's going to be a big project for me, and I'd like to bring you along. And what I'd like you to do is, if you're interested, I hope you are, I'm going to create a playlist for the 12 block sampler, and I'm not going to be starting it this coming weekend because I'm going to be away this weekend. But when I do start cutting for the first block,
when I post my videos, I'll be leaving links to Instagram, Facebook, and Pinterest so that we can share our progress with one another and encourage each other, have fun, and enjoy.
Keep in mind when you're choosing fabric, and it's difficult for a lot of quilters to choose fabric. It can be overwhelming, either when you go into the store to look at fabric or when you go to your stash. So this is what I suggest. If you get sort of overwhelmed, isn't even the word. It's almost as though it's too much to process at once. So this is what I suggest. When you go into your stash, pick 3 prints. Now they can be geometric prints, they can be floral prints, they can be a batik print, a traditional print, whatever print you have. Pick 3 of them. And then pick one fabric to complement each one. Just one. And what I suggest you do is look at the fabric and say, okay, what are the earth tones? Well, the earth tones in this are the green. Greens, blues, sky, water. What are the cool tones? That would be your blues, your ocean, your blue flowers, gray skies. Then go to your bright colors, your florals, your sunsets, your rainbows. So sort of think in terms of nature, okay? And maybe that'll help you focus on, a particular color palette within the print that you're working on. And that helps me a lot process it while I'm looking. And believe me, my stash gets really messy while I'm doing it because I choose, then I discard, then I choose, then I discard. Then I might go back to one that I previously discarded and say, well, what if I paired this color with that one? Then how would it look, So it's all a matter of a process of elimination and or acceptance. So, or sometimes what you'll do is, during the process, sometimes what I'll do is I'll eliminate a main pattern, but then I'll say, well, wait a minute, I really want to use this gold, and then I'll start pulling prints to what would go with the gold. So sometimes doing it the opposite way, choose a tone on tone, and then try to pull other colors that will complement just the tone on tone. Work the opposite of finding a focus fabric, and maybe that'll help you narrow your search when you're choosing your pattern to help you process and streamline the process of choosing so that it's not so overwhelming. Those are just some tips that help me when I'm searching for just the right color or the right pattern and I'm having difficulty. But I'm excited about this. I'm excited. And like I said, I believe those are all 12 that I mentioned that are in the book. If I read through, I'm not done reading the book yet, but I went into each book to find the pattern block. I went into each chapter to find the pattern block for that chapter. So let me go back and say them again. Sawtooth Star, which I found a feathered star when I was searching my patterns that I'd like for that one. Double 9 patch, that's one that I might do a substitute. Little Red Schoolhouse I'm keeping because it's such a great traditional block. Contrary Wife, Lemoyne Star, Posies Round the Square, I'm definitely doing that one. Lancaster Rose, I have a couple blocks that I like that I could use for that one, variations of it. Sister's Choice, Hands All Around, Chimneys and Cornerstones, that's a log cabin, and I don't think I'm going to put a log cabin in this one, so I think I'm definitely going to do a replacement for that one, an exchange for that one. Ohio Star, I'm definitely going to swap something out for that one. I've done Ohio Stars before and Bachelor's Puzzle. I hope you enjoyed this little impromptu video about the 12 block sampler that I'm going to begin. I'd like to take you along. I'm not posting this weekend. I'm going to be out of town. But this will give you time to search for your blocks. Oh, and by the way, you can search the Quilter's Apprentice. And they have postings of quilters who have done the blocks in this book. They don't have a pattern per se, but they do have postings of quilters who have done the blocks that were done in this book. So that's also something you can look at. Our other quilters' blogs who have done this pattern. The Quilter's Apprentice, author Jennifer Chiaverini, Chiaverini. Well, when you see me next time, I'm going to start on my first block, start cutting into this fabric, and it probably won't be until next week because, like I said, I'm going to be gone this weekend. You guys have a great weekend. Hope to see you soon. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe to follow me on the 12 block sampler. I'm Angela Davis, and I'm the 4am Quilter. Have a great evening and have a nice weekend. And remember, why sleep when you can sew?